Hello everyone, I'm Akanksha Kadam. I'm in final year pursuing computer engineering. In this presentation, I'm going to share my experience of placement process of three companies, Persistent, BMC and Amazon. Then we'll talk about what you should do, what I should have done with key points to focus on. Let's start with the first company, that is Persistent. There was aptitude round where high performers were selected for advanced round for higher package. I cleared aptitude round for basic package. Then I had technical interview where interviewer asked me two questions to code. First question was on sequence printing and the next one was on linked list. They asked me direct OPL terms and basic questions on DBMS and SDLC. It mostly depends on interviewer, but I think the main focus was to know how well I know to code, as they watched me coding line by line, how I am approaching the problem, the way I write the code, how I compile and debug. Then I was selected for HR round, which had behavioral assessment, and at the end I was selected for the Persistent for basic package. So that was Persistent. The second company is BMC. The aptitude round included puzzles and coding questions too. I was selected for technical round where most of the questions were on my project, like how can I modify my project if number of users are increased. They asked me about every single module I used. They asked indirect questions including the project for concepts like how you used OPL in your project. Then there were two interviews, so following every question, when I answer, they asked questions taking points from my answer and going deep in every concept. Plus, they asked me a few scenario based questions on leadership, like if the team leader is absent, what will you do, and how you face challenges, questions like that. I got selected for HR round where they asked me about my strengths, weaknesses, and to give examples for that. Then hobbies, extracurricular activities, achievements, then projects. And they also asked me about their company, what I know about BMC. Then questions like what value you will add to our company, why BMC, and what are the challenges I face while doing projects. Give me example like that. I didn't get selected in BNC. The key takeaway from that is I should prepare my answers more creatively with thinking out of the box. And the knowledge of the project in depth is very important. So that was BMC. Now Amazon. The first round was online assessment where they had many rounds like situational questions based on email and chats given, questions based on networking and operating system, questions to check character and behavior. I got selected for the first round of the interview, which was mainly based on OS. Mostly OS questions were asked. Then on programming, he asked me questions on OPL and gave me two problem statements to discuss different logics to solve it. Then on algorithm, he asked me binary search, its primary requirement, how can I optimize my algorithm and all. At last, he asked me a few services I worked on AWS and scenario based questions. I did not clear that round because my OS topics were not that strong. After that, there was one round on networking and last HR round. Now I will talk about my shortcomings or things you should do now. The first is programming language. I know C, C++, Python and Java. Deciding which language to use, and sometimes I used to get confused in syntax. So it is never about how many languages you know, but it is about how much you know. Sticking to one language is better, so you will not get confused with syntax and try to learn everything about that single language. Then second is in coding the problem statement. Knowing the logic is not just enough to clear coding round. Speed is very important. If I started practicing for coding pretty early on HackerRank, it would have been a great help. Then the third is projects. I waited till my third year thinking that I will learn everything and then implement it, which is not a good approach. When you are making projects, even if you know nothing at first, but in the process of making, you learn a lot. OPL, DSOS, networking, these topics are the basic requirement for every company. Knowing everything about it is very important. I should have studied more about them from the starting. Then internships. The questions where they ask how you face challenges and how you work with others. It comes when you get experience and exposure. It would have been better if I had done few internships. What I should have done in my previous year. In FE, I studied C++ before. Rather than wasting time, I should have practiced more problem solving questions, and I should have started practicing for aptitude questions daily. In SE, I remember making very good notes, but I didn't kept it well. I have to redo it when studying again. And I should have done few projects then. In third year, I should have applied for internships and participated in hackathons and prepared for HR and interview basic questions then only. The main thing I should have done is specially focused on OS and CN subjects, which is very important. So, the important points to focus and to keep in mind will be the first, you should start preparing for aptitude, don't wait for the last moment, practice daily and using approaches which will give you answers faster to save time at exam. As this is the first elimination round, it is very important to get selected here. The second is coding. Practice questions on HackerRank, which will give you confidence to work with any problem statement and find solution and increase your speed, and also it will give you different approaches to look at a problem. Then third is for interview process. Being good at English is not so important. You don't talk grammar. What is important is how you put your point forward. Communication in interview is a two-way process. You listen carefully what they are asking and answer with confidence. The fourth, for HR round, you should prepare HR and behavioral questions beforehand so that at the time of the interview you don't have to think. And most important, know everything about that company which you are appearing for. It shows that you are genuinely interested in working there. The fifth is the projects. It shows you know how to implement things you learn. Make small projects, know its implementation, how you did that, why you did that, what are the alternative approaches, how your approach is better, and working on the project helps you to learn that technology faster, and it will also increase your interest. So at the end, here I mentioned few resources I used for my preparation for aptitude, interview questions, technical topics, coding and HR interview. So that was everything. Now I'm working on my shortcomings, practicing daily to improve, as it's never too early and never too late to start learning. I hope my presentation helped you and you learn from my mistakes and prepare well. Thank you so much and all the best for your preparations.